Ja, meldingen er, at ubådsbyggeren er blevet reddet op.
Og journalisten?
Ja, det er der ingen melding om. Og er omkring kl. 19.00 sejlet ud i en hjemmebygget ubåd i forbindelse med et interview, men er ikke vendt hjem som aftalt.
Find min dotter. Bara finn henne.
Det er så stort.
Vi kunne ret hurtigt konkludere, at der er spor menneskeblod i ubåden.
Vi har jo lavet en masse undersøgelser i sagen, som jeg ikke kan komme nærmere ind på. Men vi mangler fortsat det lige i sagen.
Jeg ved, han har gjort det. Det ved jeg også. Vi siger, det er et drab. Han påstår, det er en ulykke.
Men hvis ikke jeg kan afvise enhver rimelig tvivl om skyldspørgsmålet, så kan jeg slet ikke blive dømt. Og vi har stadig ikke nok beviser.
Vi finder ikke noget som helst. Hvor lang tid tager det? Det er jo for helvede ligesom at lægge et puslespil for halvdelen af brækkerne mange.
Vi har været igennem sigtets internethistorik.
Det her det der kan I gøre.
Der er jo mange drabsager, jeg har været involveret i. Alligevel har jeg aldrig oplevet en sag som den her.
Det her ikke er en perfekt forbrydelse. Det er en klodset, klam forbrydelse.
Hvad er det, der gjorde det? Hun var nysgerrig. Hun var præcis, som vi ønsker, at vores børn skal være.
Hur ska vi någonsin få veta vad som har hänt?
Vi vil have svar, Jens. Forstår du det? Vi vil have svar.
Hey, it's Kathy with Cinemondo. I am here to talk about a series on HBO called The Investigation. It's a very low key, restrained depiction of the Kim Wall murder. You may have heard of it. It's sometimes called the submarine murder. Kim Wall was a journalist, and she went to interview Peter Madsen, who was an inventor who had created a homemade mini submarine. So she was going to go write a story about him, and he invited her out to take a ride with him in the sub from 7 to 9 p.m. That alone, I don't know. Anyway, it just seemed a little shady. Anyway, so this is a Danish production. It's subtitled. It's very very true to the story. It's told almost exclusively through the eyes of the investigators. We don't see Kim Wall. We don't see Peter Madsen. He basically is just this sort of presence in the background. You know, you hear about documents, you hear about what he did, but we never actually see an actor portraying Peter Madsen. He's basically like in an interrogation room and you see a light on, and that's about all you get for Peter Madsen. You don't see Kim Wall. You see her parents, her grieving parents. It's very sad. So they keep it. I found it very hypnotic. They keep it very serious and very precise about how the investigation happened. So, as a lot of us know, investigations aren't like these really dramatic, exciting, chase the suspect down the street kind of thing. So, it was fascinating just to see this very procedural forensic investigation, bit by bit, piece of evidence by piece of evidence. A document, a phone call. It's like, you never actually see any gross crime scene photos. I mean, it's all really, really classy. So I mean, it's very, very hypnotic. So I enjoyed this. The acting was great. They kind of avoid what you think a true crime show is going to be. Usually you have the detectives who have this big moment where they discover the crime, and then we have the investigation that moves along kind of a quick pace, and then we have the big reveal and the interview with the suspect, who then confesses in a very dramatic way. This is not that. We never see the crime. They don't reenact the crime. You just kind of hear some details as they talk about it through a forensic lens. And I think the only time that you kind of feel like they're falling into the teeny bit is that whole true crime trope where, the cop is working too hard. His family feels left out, even though they signed up for this. I mean, he's a cop, he's got to leave at all times at night. He's not always going to be around. I found it a little disappointing that people couldn't understand that, there is, there's a time constraint a lot of times to when you're investigating. If it's not, if you're not, don't have some good leads and a good, good idea what happened within the first 48 hours, the chances of it ever being solved greatly diminish. So this guy had to put in a lot of work. And part of it is each little lead that goes somewhere is a dead end. You kind of feel that viscerally. You're like, oh, we spent all that time, all this time watching, and it went nowhere. But they have some great scenes, and I didn't know these dogs existed. That there's a dog, not only the cadaver dogs, they can actually smell decay coming through water, because this happened to the submarine and the submarine sank. So they all assume, okay, he's gotten rid of the body somehow because she never came back from the ride. So they have dogs out on the water trying to sense and smell any kind of form of, human decay. And I did not know this existed. And so in all of that, and this is all included in the show too, they have to take into account the currents and the wind. And, so when the dog smells this, it still could be like hundreds of yards in another direction, because the ocean is a huge place. And, to find a body or pieces of the body in this case is really difficult. So that was fascinating. So I really enjoyed a lot of that. There was a lot of water, a lot of them going out in boats trying to find the body. And then, maybe some people would find that repetitive, but I thought it was a really, really good depiction of something that is repetitive and it is hard and it's not always exciting. So if you want to see something very realistic and very sad, definitely check out The Investigation. It's on HBO and it's a series. I think there's 3 or 4 episodes. I just see it as this long, beautiful piece of work. I just watched it all in a row. So check it out and add it to your true crime list of things you want to see. All right. Bye.